Hey, what's up guys? I feel like coming at you with another legendary video, and today we're taking another look at the legendary Venom expansion that's coming out in March of this year. So back on the 21st of February, Upper Deck's blog did post their sneak peek of this set, and I will put a link to the blog post in the description of the video if you are really wanting to check this out in more detail than what I go over it, but I'm hopefully going to do a lot of detail for you guys so you don't really need to. They revealed the 6 brand new cards from the set that are coming out, 6 out of the 100, which did include cards for Venom, Carnage, and one of the third of the 5 recruitable characters, which came as a bit of a shock to me, and if you've already seen it, you'll know. I think back in January, of course, they also revealed the box art for the set, which you can see here. And that, of course, does feature Venom, and it does surprisingly feature the Life Foundation symbiotes. Now, back in my video that I did when I was talking about what I might want to see in it, I did talk about maybe they do the Life Foundation symbiotes as one of the scenarios or one of the villain groups, and based on what we've seen here in this box art, so it's pretty obvious that they are going to be doing the Life Foundation symbiotes, and why wouldn't you? It's one of the most important parts of the Venom's history. They were the first real, like mass-produced symbiotes. I know that Carnage was the first spawn of Venom, but this is when things started to get a little bit crazy in terms of symbiote stuff, so it's nice to see them here. So what we did get was a pretty nice blog post talking about the set as a whole, and particularly focusing on its 3 major keywords. Now, we didn't get any look at schemes, we didn't get any look at masterminds, so the second mastermind is still a mystery. Although I do believe it'll be something to do with the Life Foundation, so maybe Carlton Drake himself. Might be a little bit weird, but I feel like it would be more interesting if Scream herself was the mastermind, and then she had the other rest of the Life Foundation as her, as her villain group. But we'll have to wait and see. So the 3 new keywords that we're getting, well, there's 2 new keywords and 1 old keyword. The old keyword is excessive violence, something that I'm not particularly familiar with, but it is going to be used here, and it does fit with the kind of the theme of the symbiotes. The other 2 new keywords are indigestion and digest. Now, we're going to go over these in a little bit of detail right now. So starting off, but for example, we're going to show you guys the Venom card. So the reveal was 2 cards for Venom, 2 cards for Carnage, and 2 cards for the third character. So as you can see here, this is Venom's ulti, and as you can see as well, they do have their own symbiote class, which is something that I thought they would as well. What's interesting about Venom here is he does have the mind symbol on his ulti. Now, of course, that is the same as the villain's ulti for Venom, which does have that. And of course, the Agent Venom does also have the mind symbol as well. So, of course, Agent Venom also does have the text symbol. But what's interesting we can see here is that they're keeping the same symbols across for the character across multiple sets, so we can probably guess that his other card will be punch symbol. So his first ability you can see is Digest 8. Now, what that means is Digest activates by having a certain number of cards in your victory pile. So if you have 8 cards in your victory pile, you get to use the Digest ability, which allows you to KO a card from your victory pile, and you get +6 attack. Now, this is really cool, and it does work very similar to the way that the Venom does work in the villains, but now it's KO any card. So if you really do want a ton of bystanders in your victory pile, you can just KO another random card, like a random 1 victory point villain. So it does give you the option to do whatever you want, which is really nice. Now, he does also have the ability called Indigestion. Now, a lot of the cards with Digest will have Indigestion, but some of them really only have just the Indigestion. But he does have both because he's an ulti. Now, the way Indigestion works is if you do not have the required number of cards in your victory pile for Digest, you get to use the Indigestion ability. Now, the Indigestion abilities are very different. So basically, if you have 7 or less cards in your victory pile, particularly for this Venom, you get to use his Indigestion ability, which is to KO a card from your hand or discard pile, and you get 6 stars. Now, what's really cool about this particular Venom card as well is if you combo off 2 other symbiote characters, you get to do both. So, and if you're playing like for the full expansion, that's pretty powerful. Otherwise, I think Venom's cards are going to be quite costly unless he does get a card like his 3-cost card from the Villains expansion that gives you 2 stars. So Indigestion and Digest are very interesting mechanics, and of course with Digest specifically, you can only use Digest once per turn. Yeah, so no matter how many cards you have in your victory pile, you can only use this ability for each card once per turn. So you can't Digest, twice if you have a 16-card victory pile. You only get to use it once, so you've got to make sure you know when you're using it. So that's really cool. The next mechanic, of course, is excessive violence. Now, excessive violence means once per turn, you can spend one extra attack more than you need to fight a villain or a mastermind using excessive violence. If you do, you get to use all the excessive violence abilities on cards you've played this turn. If you're not fighting anything this turn, or if you don't spend an extra attack on someone, then you won't be able to use any of your excessive violence abilities. Keep in mind, of course, you can only use excessive violence once per turn when fighting, so be sure to have as many cards in play when you're triggering it. So, an ideal example of an excessive violence card we have is one of the 2 Carnage cards that were revealed. So, this is excessive violence for 3 attack, and it is, it's a 6-cost card because it's quite powerful. So reveal the top card of your deck, you may KO it. So being able to spend 4 attack to attack a villain, like an extra 3-cost villain, and then you get to KO the top card of your deck if you want. Very powerful, very useful, and of course if you combo off a bunch of excessive violence cards, you can get a lot of triggers, and that's obviously going to be a major part of this set. So basically that's it for the 2 new keywords, Digest and Indigestion, as well as excessive violence. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the 6 cards, starting off with the brand new character that they're adding, and that is Venom Rocket. So Venom Rocket was really surprising for me. I know that obviously Rocket and Venom do have some kind of relation, as they were on the Guardians together for a while, but that was Flash, not Eddie. I do think it would have been cool to see Venom Pool, but we still do have 2 mystery characters, and I still think Venom Deadpool is very, very likely to show up. And because it's more of a Venomverse expansion rather than just a pure Venom, I think they are going to expand it to other characters. But if they were going to do that, really should have called it Venomverse. Like I've said in the previous videos, it's Venom. You could easily do a full big box expansion on it. But anyway, so the legendary, this is Hungry for Action. It is a 3-cost to attack with Digest 3. So in order to use its Digest ability, you have to have at least 3 cards in your victory pile. You may discard a card. If you do, to draw a card. So what's really cool about these Digest and Indigestion cards, the cards that have both, is they help you at the start of the game as well as helping you at the end of the game, which is really cool. Then we have his 5-cost card, which is Serious Overkill. So that is a 5-cost card with excessive violence, and it's for 2 attack, as all you would expect from all excessive violence cards. I think they're all going to have attack on them. You may KO a card from your hand or discard pile. So again, these excessive violence cards do seem quite costly, but they do have really good abilities. The fact that they can KO cards from your hand or discard pile, as well as attacking and dealing damage, is very powerful. So that's it for the 2 rockets. And now we'll move on to Carnage. This is the one you already saw, which was Gruesome Feast. So it is a 6-cost, 3 attack with excessive violence. So reveal the top card of your deck, you may KO it. And another thing I want to talk about as well quickly is that every card in this set is done by comic book artists who have worked on Venom before. Particularly, I think it's the artist who worked on Venomverse, which is freaking awesome if you ask me. Really, really happy about that. The second Carnage card is Carnivore. So it is a 4-cost 0+ with Digest 4 and Indigestion. So his Digest 4 cost is you go 2 cards, and Indigestion is +2 stars. So this is actually quite a good card as well, because at the start of the game, you'll get +2 stars, which you can use to buy other cards. And at the later of the game, you get to draw more cards because you'll have more, money cards, more cards that can buy stuff later on in the deck. Very useful card. Also a very nice card if you're mixing characters as well. And that's what I can see with this particular set as well. It doesn't want to play mono character. I noticed that, of course, with villains, you definitely want to try and play mono character. This is definitely, you want to play everyone. You put and play all the Venoms together to fight against the Poison Thanos. And that's something that I think they've really done well, from what I can see here, encapsulating the theme of the Venomverse story. It's all the Venoms from all the multiverses coming together to fight against the Poisons, which is really cool. And you can see that these cards are synergizing with each other really well. Next up, we have the second Venom card. So that is Devouring Rule. So this is a Digest. This is a 3-cost with 0+ and 0+ and 0 attack plus. For Digest 3, you get +2 attack, and Indigestion +2 stars. So if you have 3 or more cards in your victory pile, he's gonna come in with 2 attack. and if you don't, you get plus 2 stars. And then if you combo a mind symbol, you get both. So this is really, really good. It seems like Venom is going to be able to do both of his abilities every turn so long as you combo off, which is really good. It makes him a very powerful card. And of course, given that it's only a mind symbol, you can combo him off with other Venom cards you have, such as like this one. I know it's not a symbiote card, but you may KO, KO bystander from your victory pile if you do get plus 2 stars. So obviously, if you combo off all the other Venom cards from the other sets, particularly the mind ones, you're going to get a lot of really fun stuff happening here. Particularly, even with his other ulti, it's also a mind symbol. If you combo him off, you get to add victory, you get to add bystanders from other players' victory piles. Then this, of course, will let you get those. We'll add more cards to your victory pile, so you can use the digest ability. Really cool combos that you can pull off there if you do mix off the two Venoms. I do think it might brick a little bit in the sense that you don't have pure symbiote trait for both of those characters, but the fact that they're potentially going to be the same two traits, the same two symbols and classes, is very useful, and I can definitely see what they're going for there. And of course, we already saw it, but the last card is the Venom Multi, which is the Unstable Hunger. So it is an 8 cost for 0 plus attack and 0 plus stars with digest 8. So if you have 8 or more cards in your victory pile, put a KO card from your victory pile and you get plus 6 attack. Very useful. Although you're going to get rid of bystanders, right? So if he gets a lot more new cards that do grab bystanders, or if you mix him off with his other cards, you're going to have a pretty big victory pile anyway. I did notice when I do play Pure Venom, I do have a pretty massive victory pile. So it's nice that they're finding a way to balance that out and give you some new ways to be pretty crazy. And then, of course, his Indigestion is to KO a card from your hand or discard pile to get plus 6 stars. And if you combo off 2 other symbiotes with him, symbiote class characters, you do get both abilities. So very cool. But that's it, guys. That's just everything we know so far for the expansion. We also know that one of the masterminds is Poison Thanos, but based on the box art, I can pretty much assume that we will be getting the Life Foundation or something to do with Lethal Protector as the other mastermind. Because it's only a mini box expansion, we do only get 2 masterminds. We do only get 2 villain groups. I do believe we will be getting 4 schemes if we go by what we got in the Paint the Town Red. So definitely be interesting, and we also might get some new bystanders maybe. I'm not 100% sure. It'd be really cool to see some like Venomized bystanders, or even see some, because they're theming around Venomverse, we might even see some poor symbiotes as bystanders as well. But anyway, guys, what do you think of this set? Are you as excited as I am for it? Based on what I've read, it is coming out on the 5th or I think it's the 7th of March. I might be mistaken. So that is actually next week. That could just be a US release date. Hopefully it's a worldwide release so I can pick it up and play some games with it. If you guys are excited for it, let me know in the comments below. As well as that, let me know your favorite expansion for Legendary so far, your favorite host of Venom, etc, etc. And if you like this video, remember to like and subscribe. Check out the other Legendary Venom video we have on there, up here as well. And once the set comes out, I'll be doing a full unboxing for you guys and a full talk about the set as a whole. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you for my next video.